This is a blowtorch, and I'm just going to show you how it works. I'm going to fuel it up and light it up, but before I do that, I think it's important to take a second and show you this. This is just a modern day torch, gas fueled. Can be as easy as just pull the trigger and go, and that's really important to think about. Like most things, we really take a lot of stuff for granted. So before that, maybe in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, in the 1900s, the new propane torches came out. But for about 100 years around that time and earlier, then you had to use a blowtorch. And it can run on gasoline or kerosene, but it takes about, maybe 3 to 5 minutes to start up. So first thing I'm going to do is put some kerosene into it. So just going to tip it upside down. It's a little brass plug with a leather washer on the bottom. And I'm going to pour the kerosene right in there. Now because it's so hard to restart, you got to let it cool down first. You probably don't want to run out. For this demonstration, we'll just fill it up halfway. So I'm just using kerosene right from the store. So the next thing I want to do is pressurize the inside with this little air pump on the side. So you wouldn't want to fill it all the way up to the top of the kerosene because you need some compressible air in there to push it out. So filling it up halfway is going to make things easy. This is a Turner Brassworks blowtorch. They were real popular. They were around for about 100 years. Their main product was torches, and they made bunches of different kinds that ran off of gasoline and kerosene. So this is the number 20, and I can't find any information on it, but it seems pretty much like the others. A little shut-off valve here that shuts off the air pump from the tank. So I'm going to turn that on to allow my pressurized air to go inside. I'm just going to start pumping it. It's drawing in air from the top here, and then there's a little check valve on the bottom built into the tube. I forgot to shut this off first. This is where the fuel comes up and squirts out. So make sure to shut that off so it doesn't come squirting out as soon as you start to pressurize it. It's actually probably pretty good right there. So I'm going to shut my valve off down here. Clean up the mess. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but if you watch really closely, you can see a stream of fuel squirt out through a little nozzle way back. I'll open this up and see if you can see it squirt out. It's really small. You'll see it filling up the jar, and I'm intentionally giving myself a little bit of raw kerosene on purpose here too. That much ought to do it. I'm going to shut it back off. So the kerosene, it'll just be like a flamethrower right now if I try to light it up coming out as raw fuel. I want it to atomize. The kerosene doesn't really want to light up or even atomize and really burn ferociously coming out of the blowtorch until it's kind of hot. So step one is to warm up this assembly up here where the kerosene comes into to get warmed up and then flow back out and shoot out. So I'm actually going to pour that raw kerosene right into this little basin here for the starting process. I might do a little, but I'll be as careful as I can. That's probably good enough right there. If I were to take a lighter and try to light that up, it might not light real easy. So I'm going to use a torch, a little propane torch here. And I'll show you what happens if I just hit it with a flame. Oh, you might see it light up for a second, but then go right out. So it's pretty stable stuff. But if I stay on there with the torch for a little bit and warm it up and really get it going, it'll stay lit. And that's what I'm going for. It looks like something you don't want to happen, but it actually is on purpose. So it's staying lit right now. Let's see if it keeps going. Once it warms up a little bit, it'll stay on. Now the process to warm up the head on this thing to the point where it can actually atomize fuel will take about 5 minutes. But before that, if we tried to turn it on, it would just squirt out raw fuel. So let's try just to see what happens if we were to do that. Well, it's just squirting out raw fuel. Doesn't this look like all sorts of wrong? This is the warming up process. Now at this point it's hot enough where if I turn it on, it'll be like a flamethrower. It's almost ready but it's still not quite hot enough to get that raw fuel and to get thin enough to be able to atomize coming out of the very small orifice here and spray out in where it burns immediately after it's able to combine with a little bit of air and come out the end. If you ever do this, one mistake you do not want to make at this point is to be trying this and then simultaneously trying to blow out the flame out here. What can happen is that raw fuel might decide to come out of these little vent holes here that are meant to take air in. And instead of blowing out the end, they could blow out these holes and you could have a face full of flames, so that's no good. If you wanted to leave this off and try to blow out the flames, maybe that would be okay. And then you just use a lighter to light the gas coming out. But we'll follow it here to see when it gets to the point where it wants to come out and as they're atomized and light up like a blowtorch should. You can see where if you run out of gas and you need to restart this thing, you have to wait a while. The head's getting pretty hot. Oh, see that? It's just starting to get hot enough. Almost there. This is where you get tempted to blow out that flame, but you do not want to do it. Okay, I'm going to turn off the gas, pull that out. Oh. Still wanted to light up the basin, but there you go. That is a lit blowtorch. Okay, we got this guy rocking now just like it should be. So it just warmed up a bit more and I just turned down the gas a little bit. And it went from that bright yellow, kind of messy flame like that. It's not even too bad now. It's really tightening up. Almost an all blue flame. That's my wife. All that, now you can do like this.